I want to just thank everyone for showing up here and standing in support for Clean Slate, the New York State proposed bill. We're standing here in Albany as last year, Albany City as well as the county has passed a resolution as well as a proclamation in support for Clean Slate. Support for second chances for New Yorkers across the state. There are about 2.3 million New Yorkers who have criminal backgrounds, who have limited access to housing, education, and job opportunities. We stand here with our local municipality as we call on other local municipalities to join our moral tour across the state as we continue to call on our county assembly and legislator to continue to support and sign on to Clean Slate and ultimately pass it as soon as we go back into session. So you're going to hear from a bunch of different organizations as well as county legislators and city council members as they speak in support of Clean Slate and as to why they passed it. You're also going to hear from other local activists in their municipalities where resolutions are scheduled to be heard. Their cries and calls for their municipalities to also get online and get on board with our moral tour and calls for Clean Slate across the state of New York. We're going to start off with our first speaker, who is going to be Barrero, who is a county legislator who last year helped get our proclamation in Albany County passed.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Loki folks, and thank you for having me here today. It's a very beautiful afternoon here, but it's starting to get cold in Albany, so I'm going to try to be quick with this. The purpose of the criminal justice system is to, one, to protect, to punish, and to rehabilitate. And for many years now, the third part of that, which is to rehabilitate, has gone missing. People should not have to serve their sentences, finish serving their payroll, and then come home to serve another life sentence with regards to economy. When people are not allowed to find jobs, to apply for good jobs, they are not able to fully rehabilitate. 1.8 million New Yorkers have been shut out of economic opportunities. At least 1.8 million New Yorkers. This is not how we do, this is not what we do in New York. New York is the New York state of opportunities, and that opportunity should be open to everyone. And so we are calling on our state legislators to immediately pass the Clean Slate legislation so that everyone has equal access to opportunities in the state of New York. That is who we are, that is what we do. And I thank you all for organizing this. I'm in fully support of this. The county legislators, a lot of my colleagues are in support of this. And we call on New York State to take action and immediately. Thank you very much.
Unfortunately, our county council members who sponsored the resolution, Owusu and Derek Johnson, were unable to make it. However, they both again are crying out their support for other municipalities to join in our Clean Slate resolution tour, our moral tour, as well as calling on our county legislators to, calling on our state legislators to again pass the Clean Slate Act. Who's speaking in representation of our city council is going to be Sergio Adams, who's going to come up here and speak in representation of our city council.
Good afternoon. So today we are here standing in support of the Clean Slate Act. The Clean Slate Act is something that is essential for us to understand and be aware of. Right now, residents all over New York State are being impacted. A lot of those individuals are black males. These individuals are having a hard time after serving their time in jail and coming home to again serve another sentence. For individuals who have come home, who have followed the rules, who have served their time and are looking for a way to get back to their community, the Clean Slate Act is the second chance for those individuals. We need to empower these individuals to start being a part of our communities in our state. For far too long, the criminal justice system has taken advantage of our communities. The Clean Slate Act would allow individuals, young individuals, older individuals who have made mistakes in their past to make things right. This is not about bail reform. This is not about having people on the street. This is about people providing for themselves and their families to be included in the process of community and giving back. The Clean Slate Act is something that council members have discussed, we have talked about, and we feel that it is very important for our state representatives to understand that on a local level, council members, legislators are actively pushing and working with our communities to educate them on this bill. We want to make sure that individuals have access to resources that for far too long have been taken away from them. Access to housing, access to employment. For individuals right now coming into the city of Albany who live here, who also raise their families here, if a man wants to live with his wife or his girlfriend in Albany housing, the policies that they have prevents that from happening. Because this individual has a felony from years ago, a misdemeanor, this prevents them from actually being united with their families. The Clean Slate Act is not only to rehabilitate, but is to reunite families and communities together. Thank you.
The next speaker that we have that's going to come up here and speak is Mafame, a local activist who's also formerly incarcerated and recently received clemency from Governor Cuomo. Justice, no peace.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dante S. Mitchell, better known as Infalme, and I'm the leader and founder of UFD. I'm also the CEO and president of Conscious Money Enterprises LLC. Sometime last year, around this time, I was granted clemency by former Governor Andrew M. Cuomo. And since that time period that I've been home, I've faced a lot of difficulties. For people who don't know my story, I was 17 years old when I committed a robbery, 2 attempt robberies, and minor related offenses. And I was sentenced to a maximum term of 70 years. And then, by grace of God and fighting for justice and fighting for my freedom, I ended up getting clemency and release from prison on September 9th, 2021. I've struggled with finding housing. I struggled with finding employment, and in fact, Spectrum News is here today. You guys hired me to be an inbound sales rep, but then took the job away because of my criminal record, and therefore, resulting in me having to file a lawsuit in order to, vindicate myself in that situation, causing for me now to have to deal with financial woes as a result of the fact that there are employers out there that won't give a man a second chance. It was over 25 years ago that my offenses were committed, and I've been in the community doing work with young people, and it's publicized on my IG page, etc., the work that I do, and I still haven't been able to get a second chance. So this Clean Slate Act is very important for me personally, and I'm sure it's very important for a lot of other people here as well. There are people who want to come back into the community and do the right thing, who want to really be productive members of society, but how can we be if society itself and those who are in positions of business leaders, politicians, etc., are not paving the way for us to do that? So with that, I'd like to say thank you to Luki Forbes, thank you to Sergio Adams, and to the county legislature, I can't pronounce your name, sir, and everybody else that came here today in the support of this act. We call upon the state legislature to please, please, please pass this act. Thank you.
Up next, we have Tashika Medina from Equality from Troy.
The position here is that I live in Troy. They have not taken on Clean Slate like our rest of our local municipalities, and we need it done. We need it done in Troy. We're seeing a lot of recidivism. We're seeing a lot of things that could be actually help with this bill. So right now, I'm just calling on the city of Troy to, push the Clean Slate bill, get it in front of the council. Let us hear the bill. We want to hear it. Why are we being ignored? So I think Troy needs to join the rest of the state and local municipalities with pushing Clean Slate for the city of Rensselaer. I think it'll do us a little bit more justice and act a little bit more proactive in our city than reactive. Thanks.
Up next, we're going to hear from other community members in the city of Albany. We have Stevie Robinson from Cure Hip Hop LLC.
The United States government versus Stevie Wise Robinson. Case number 125-509. Charge, murder in the first degree. The prosecution rests his case solely on circumstantial evidence, convicting a man for a crime that he didn't commit solely on the words of one person, of Mr. Auckland Dewberry, who himself was a paid government informant. 20 years of solitary confinement. Solitary confinement is known to breed mental retardation. This is a report that came from the Council of Dollars. How can you, and then on top of that, you label a troublemaker. So when you label a troublemaker, what do the COs do when they bury you away in the mountain? They walk past your cell. They throw peanuts at you. They call you animals. They tell you your family don't love you. This is why you don't get no visit. They say this time and time and time, day in and day out, while you locked in the cell 23 hours a day. Clean slate is important. Act and act now. Thank you.
We also have Shatasha Sims from Cure Hip Hop as well.
My name is Shatish. I'm here from Cure Hip Hop. I stand here in the fraction of that prevented. I've been prevented from good jobs and housing. Now the thing that I want to say here for New York State legislators, I ask that you please pass Clean Slate, because it would do New York State a big service as the economy is down and jobs is down. By fixing the damaged goods that America and New York State did, by locking us up, convicting us of crimes that we did not do, that we did not commit, right? Because we got mental health under all of this spectrum. So we can all move onward and upward if we look back to move forward. And how we do that today is by fixing the errors and the wrongs of yesterday. We can move forward. And I stand here, a damaged good on the shelf that would like to be equally employed in America. I would like for my family to live good and equal too.
Clean Slate can't wait!
Clean slate can't wait.
Clean Slate can't wait!
Clean slate can't wait.
Up next, we have Paul Cullen Hackett, the Secretary of the Community Police Review Board, also known as Albany's Batman.
So first and foremost, I do want to say thank you to Lukey Forbes and to the coalition for not only taking the lead on this, they've been the largest voice in making sure that a lot of us heard about it and are involved the way we need to be. So thank you for looping us in. Thank you for bringing everybody here, not for nothing. And everybody, it's a Friday, it's a nice day. You can be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us doing this, and it matters. So thank everybody for being here for that. My biggest thing is I work with kids a lot. We believe a lot in community, we believe a lot in change, and we believe a lot in moving forward. We work with kids so that we can change the future. Every day when I work with kids, I tell them, you are not your mistakes. All that matters is how you move forward. I'd like to be sure and know that I'm not lying to these kids. I'd like to be sure and know that our state of New York State feels the exact same way, and that we have people who have served their time and are trying to move forward and be a part of society in a meaningful way and contribute, that they have the opportunity to do so. Now, personally, I'll tell a story. I'm old, and old people tell stories is what I do. But I have a cousin who was impacted in this very way. It meant a lot to me because when my cousin, who made bad decisions, served his debt to society and came home, he tried to get a job. He got a job selling vacuum cleaners. $5,000 vacuum cleaners on Clinton Avenue. That was not a viable option for him. It was the only option he had available. He served his time, he was trying to move forward, but he did not have the options and opportunities to allow him to do so. That needs to change. This conversation is, who are we as New York State? Who do we want to be? What we do defines us. And if we care about every single person in this state, if we care about every single family, then the decisions we make have to be representative of that. I'm very excited to see that our city and county are already on board. That's incredible. And I'm very, 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 very hopeful that as our state legislature will follow suit and execute the will of the people and do something that is right for the people, invest in the people and give them the opportunity to move forward. That's all I got.
We're also going to hear from another community member, Obar Robinson.
Yes, Obar Robinson, one of the notorious Robinsons. The fact that I can even put notorious in front of my whole family last name is a reflection of actual facts that happened yesterday. New York State just legalized the flower, cannabis. I've been chased around my whole physical journey saying that I did something wrong by having a flower, understanding the medical advantage of that flower at a young age. My life has been a nightmare when it should have been my dream. What made it a nightmare? This statue right here, which is very important. We're only 157 years removed from slavery. This is 2022. The light's only been on for 126 years, 1896. The invention of the light was invented locally. Albany, there's 26 letters in the alphabet. The first letter is what? A. Albany starts with what? A, for a reason. Nothing in life so far has been a coincidence. It all has been by design, by the same people or descendants of the same people that we're asking to make amends today about a clean slate. We never was given an opportunity. There's a war going on right now in another country. Our government gives another country $52 billion. Imagine if they would do that to us. People from right here, they got things in place called the Marshall Plan. I didn't come up with this. This is what they had in place anytime they had a war. We lived through a war. We lived through a war called the War on Drugs. And the architect of that war is our current president. Our current president in the 90s came up with something called I endured mass incarceration. Mass incarceration. If you know the definition of mass, they didn't miss nobody from my community, especially black men. Black men today, as they walk the earth in this time period, they got no belief in themselves because of what happened yesterday. Because of what happened yesterday. We had a very pivotal point in time where this legislation is just very important to the survival of a whole generation. By putting us in a position, because seeing is believing, by putting us in a position that maybe you wouldn't see so many young black males acting as they act. How else are they supposed to act when you took their grandfather away? You took their father away. You took their uncles away. Who did they have to look up to? And then you didn't just take them away, you took them away for the minutest things. A lot of people that's asking this legislation to pass, they had a law called jaywalking. This is the pettiness that we as black men had to deal with up until this point in time. Come on, you have to give us an opportunity to raise our own kids now. This legislation is very important, and I'm glad whoever submitted it, I'd like to commend them for even putting it on the table. The fact that it's on the table, hopefully the powers that be will react to it and do the right thing. Thank you.
Last speaking, we're going to have Lexus Figueroa from Saratoga come and explain what's going on in Saratoga with their resolution, and again calling for other municipalities to join our moral tour and to push the legislator into moving this bill. We do appreciate Senator Myrie and Assemblywoman Cruz for sponsoring these bills in our state legislature.
Thank you. Saratoga Black Lives Matter, Hudson Casco Housing Coalition. You know, when we talk about the importance of clean slate, we're talking about second chances, like we said plenty of times. People have also said it's an economical bill. Clearly, there are jobs that are needed to be filled. In Saratoga Springs, there's restaurants that are closing daily all throughout the pandemic because there's people who are being pushed out of the economy and pushed out of the job market and should be a part of it. People should have second chances to be able to feed their kids. They should be able to clothe their kids. They should be able to put their kids in equitable housing, good education for their kids. So if we don't want to worry about the people who spent their years behind bars to come out to be told that you can't do any more than what you're doing, let's think about their children. Should their children be left to suffer over what their parents did or what their parents maybe didn't do? Maybe their parents were set up. Maybe their parents were set up in situations that led them no other choice but to commit a crime. Let's think about those kids. Saratoga Springs has said that they are going to be passing this proposal within the next few weeks. We've heard that for the last month or two. Let's get it done. These people we don't have time to wait. We need clean slate and we need it now.
Need it now.
Right now. Let's not forget that clean slate should have passed this last session, but they decided to stall. They decided to not bring it to the assembly floor because they wanted to bring up things like bail reform in order to use it as a cop-out of why we can't give people second chances, a cop-out of why the industries cannot continue to move forward. The community and the society needs the people who are formerly incarcerated more than the people who are formerly incarcerated need them. There are jobs in big companies that need people. What are we going to do? Are we going to shut down these big places? Are we going to have more people to be left to be starving? More mothers and fathers to come home to their starving kids, not be able to provide for them? Or are we going to give them the chance that they need? We should be giving that chance right now. We also have Schenectady, another place where we have been speaking with city council members. We have been addressing the fact that we need this proposal. We need this done right now. They have been stalling. They just passed a proposal at the last city council meeting in Schenectady in which they don't have enough city workers in Schenectady. So they made a resolution to allow people for anywhere in Schenectady County to apply for a city job. Well, there's people who are right in Schenectady with records. More than 2.3 million people, I would say now. It was 2.3 million people last year. It's probably about 3 million now, people who deserve second chances. Let's get it done, and let's get it done now. We're going to be showing up at city council meetings in Saratoga Springs, as well as Schenectady. If we have to make noise in certain places and make disruptions to show you how serious we are about what we are saying, that we are not playing in this, because we are personally impacted by this, our families are personally impacted by this, then that's what we will have to do. Clean slate,
Can't wait.
Clean slate,
Can't wait.
Clean slate,
Can't wait.
Clean slate,
Can't wait.
No justice, no peace.
So we thank you all for joining us for our call for other municipalities to join our moral tour and pushing our state assembly and senate into moving these bills through. It passed last year in the Senate, but not the Assembly. We need this now. As you heard, $87 billion are being withheld from the urban community due to these limitations. Families are being displaced. Homes are getting broken because of these displacements, this hardship that's placed on people because of their backgrounds. So we need Clean Slate, and we need it now. Albany stands for Clean Slate, and we are asking other cities to join our call, other counties to join our call to the state Senate and the state assembly. Thank you for your time. Clean Slate!
Can't wait!
Clean Slate!
Can't wait!
Clean Slate!
Can't wait!
Obviously, we understand that it's getting jobs for people who were previously incarcerated. But what are some of the core tenets of the legislation that you guys would like to see passed?
So Clean Slate is a bill that will seal criminal backgrounds for individuals with felonies and misdemeanors. 7 years for felonies and 3 years for misdemeanors. Is not as progressive as other states like Connecticut, who include the time where a person is incarcerated in their sealing. This is also a sealing and not a full-out expungement. So law enforcement and jobs that have to do federal background checks can still be able to see people records. As well, this is, again, not as progressive as other states that have a full-out expungement, where sexual offenses aren't also included in these sealings. So this will only allow for people to apply for housing, educational opportunities. Currently, if a person has a felony right now, they can't become a real estate agent. They can't, if you have a felony in America, you can't apply for student loans. There are so many different restrictions and limitations to people with criminal backgrounds that just limits their access to actual second chances. And we know that these limitations being placed on adults may seem like one thing. However, it has a generational effect where adults are limited access to actual second chances and being able to provide a better life for themselves. It only limits the access of opportunities that they're able to provide for their children, causing this generational poverty that we continue to see perpetuate and have exacerbated since the crack epidemic, where they locked up everyone's mother and father.
So from here, what do we want specifically?
We want Clean Slate passed in the way that it is now. We don't want any more. We don't want any more suggestions for edits. There don't need to be any more edits. Again, New York's proposal is not as progressive as other states. We wish that New York's proposal was as progressive. However, we are willing to continue to move forward with where the bill is currently, and we really need this passed immediately. We will also like other municipalities, such as cities, counties, village boards, whatever, to pass supportive resolutions and proclamations, and in order to move their assembly members and their senators who are currently not on the bill to get on the bill. This will help with the type of recidivism that we're seeing. It will help with the type of crimes that we're seeing. It will help like our overall tax burden, where individuals are now able to provide better lives for themselves, where they may be able to step off of public assistance, where they will stop to recite and go back to prison, where we have to continue to pay more taxpayer money. And it will actually bring $87 billion back into our economy in New York State, really helping us move our state into a better light, helping rebuild families, and helping fix the structure that this legal form of segregation has created.
Great. And again, just for our producers, your name?
My name is Lukey Forbes. I'm the Civil Rights Coordinator with the Hudson Catskill Housing Coalition.
Spell your name for us, please.
LUKEEFORBES, like the magazine.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was mentioned that this bill was delayed last session. Are you confident that it will pass this time, or are you concerned that the same thing might happen again?
We are very confident that it will pass this time because we're not going to allow it to be ignored. We are in multiple cities right now, in multiple counties, in the areas where assembly members and senators weren't supportive, teaching their constituents and the importance of Clean Slate and getting their full support. So they will be hearing from their municipalities as well as their constituents and urging them to get onto this bill. So we're not looking to be hindered as we were last year because we're coming full force this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good.
I actually have some thank you cards for folks.
I got some fresh apples and